predicted to be a Category 4 storm, winds possibly as high as 155 miles per hour as a Category 4. There's the storm. There's Orlando. You see the little red line. That's where the center is supposed to go, but we don't want to concentrate on that red line because anywhere within this yellow area is where the track could actually occur. So the storm could go as far south and as far west as this toward the Miami area, or as far east as that, keeping it out to sea. So the big thing is it's going to possibly become dangerously close to our area. We just need to keep on watching it, and now's the time to kind of think about those preparations once again. We've got a lot of time to watch it, but now's the time to start thinking about it. We've got this system here. We've got the remnants of Gaston here, another weak tropical storm actually in the process of fizzling, so very, very active. Of course, the big thing is we are watching Francis very closely. Today, locally, not all that much happening, just some typical afternoon storms. Rainfall chances at about 30% on this Monday afternoon. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, more on your Monday, also more on Francis. Right now, though, I'll let you hear with Bob Bass.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Let's go straight to the camera. We're going to start in Seminole County. Here's I-4 at Lake Mary Boulevard. Top right corner of your screen, you see some flashing lights. Those are eastbound construction crews, not causing any delays. Closer to downtown, here's I-4 at Maitland Boulevard, and continuing towards downtown Orlando, I-4 at Colonial Drive. Your conditions around Central Florida, there are no problems on State Road 50, the 408, or the Greenway, but just found out from FHP a brand new accident in Melbourne, a crash on US 192 near the ramp to I-95. I will have another traffic update in less than 10 minutes. Vanessa?
Daybreak time now, 5:01. This morning, the parade of storms, as you've heard, continues. First it was Charlie, then Gaston and Hermine formed over the weekend, and now Francis is headed in our direction. Channel 9's Gustavo Almodovar continues our live severe weather team coverage from Orange County to explain whether Central Florida is prepared for this hurricane.
Yeah, Vanessa, state and federal emergency planners say it is time to regroup and shift modes from recovery of Hurricane Charlie to response for Hurricane Francis. Representatives with Florida's emergency response team say that will be one of the biggest challenges because there are still hundreds of people who have piles of storm debris that need to be removed, as well as hundreds more who are still in the process of repairing property damage caused by Charlie. Now, the state says it's ready. Representatives with Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, say they're ready. The question now is, are residents of Central Florida prepared to deal with another hurricane?
What did the residents do or not do in preparation for Charlie? When residents are told to evacuate, you must evacuate, or else you risk the peril of imminent danger. This is one of the problems that we ran into with Hurricane Charlie.
The state and federal response teams say that they had been planning for the potential of multiple disasters since 1994. Now, should Francis hit Central Florida, they say they expect to respond in much the same way. For now, we're live in Orange County. Gustavo Almodovar, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you very much. Hurricane Charlie knocked out power to more than 500,000 customers in Central Florida, and power companies were in a mad dash to bring in reinforcements. Channel 9's Mary Wynn continues our live team coverage from the Progress Energy headquarters in Seminole County to explain what's being done in case Francis follows Charlie's lead.
Well, this Progress Energy location will be the command center if Hurricane Francis decides to hit Central Florida. This will be the brain center and the child where all storms teams will be dispatched. Now, the recent wrath of Hurricane Charlie now has some people asking questions as to what will happen if this area gets hit again. Customers without power was one of the biggest problems after Hurricane Charlie came through. At least 500,000 customers were from Progress Energy, and it left the customers in the dark, and it took days to recover. The hurricane left debris, downed trees, and knocked down power lines. Crews came in from other states and worked 24/7 to restore power. At this time, some of the out-of-state power crews are still in Central Florida. People are out and about trimming trees down from the hurricane, which are near power lines. Now, coming up at 5:30, we'll talk to a Progress Energy representative, and he'll tell us what plans are in place and how they are monitoring the storm system if it hits, and if and when it will hit Central Florida. Reporting live in Lake Mary, Mary Wynn, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
What was Tropical Storm Gaston continues to weaken as it moves over land. The storm made landfall yesterday in the Carolinas and hit some of the same communities that were hit during Hurricane Charlie earlier this month. Gaston left behind about 10 inches of rain in Charleston, South Carolina, and more than 125,000 customers did not have electricity. Be sure to stay with Channel 9 Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the tropics. Meteorologist Joe Smith will bring you another update in just a few minutes as we check your weather and traffic together every 10 minutes. And for updates 24 hours a day, log on to WFTV.com. We have the newest tropical information posted on our homepage.
Time right now, 5:05. New from overnight, a man armed with a gun robbed a local drugstore. Deputies say a man wearing a hooded sweatshirt and a bandana robbed an Eckerd pharmacy. Happened just before midnight in Orange County on Apopka Vineland Road. 2 employees were in the store getting ready to close up shop. Deputies say the man took the money from the safe. He did not steal any drugs. A 10-year-old girl has died after being struck by lightning. Erica Chappelle got off her school bus and was holding her umbrella when lightning bounced off a tree and hit her and another girl last Wednesday. The girls were headed to their apartment complex in West Orlando. The other girl, Samantha Olivencia, was released from the hospital Friday.
This morning, Leesburg High School students will head back to school saddened by the loss of a classmate and his 19-year-old friend after a deadly and bizarre crash over the weekend in Lake County. 16-year-old Kenny Vandergriff was killed when he was thrown out of the passenger side of a car. That car was driven by his friend Aaron Porter. Eyewitnesses say 19-year-old Porter was driving at speeds close to 100 miles per hour when his car flipped and ejected both boys. But Porter couldn't be found right away. That is, until the owner of the property where the crash happened noticed a hole in his roof.
There was one body laying out there in the yard, and they couldn't find the other body, and they saw this hole up there, and they wanted to examine that hole, and when he went in through my access to my attic inside, well, then they found the body up there.
Troopers are still waiting for toxicology reports. Friends tell Eyewitness News that Aaron Porter recently celebrated his son's first birthday.
This morning, hundreds of thousands of people are in New York City to support the start of the Republican National Convention. As ABC's Sonia Crawford reports, so are hundreds of thousands of protesters.
Delegates will officially nominate President Bush and Vice President Cheney as the Republican tickets, the most important piece of business they'll conduct today. Their leader is slowly making his way to New York City, campaigning through several swing states.
I'm hunting for votes.
Yesterday, he stumped in West Virginia. Today, he'll talk to voters in New Hampshire and Michigan. 2 Republicans with crossover appeal, Senator John McCain and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, will endorse Mr. Bush as the man best able to lead in the war on terror. Giuliani's presence evokes memories of one of the strongest moments of the Bush presidency.
And President Bush is seen as a strong leader and wants to be seen as a strong leader. The fact that Giuliani is campaigning for him in such a large measure really speaks well of President Bush.
Meantime, protests continue 1 day after yesterday's huge march through the streets surrounding the Madison Square Garden convention site. The event was relatively peaceful, though police arrested 240 people for minor offenses.
There is a powerful show of security here in Midtown Manhattan. Some 10,000 police officers are guarding the subway tunnels under the convention site, and 9 blocks around Madison Square Garden have been closed off. Sonia Crawford, ABC News, New York City.
In keeping with the tradition of lying low for Convention Week, John Kerry began his week cooling off in the ocean. Senator Kerry spent his day yesterday windsurfing in his home state of Massachusetts, and later on in the evening he went to church with his wife. We check your weather and time-saver traffic together every 10 minutes. There is plenty to check this morning. Meteorologist Joe Smith is in Severe Weather Center 9 with the latest on the forecast. And what's that behind you there?
Yeah, that is the track, and you know, that's a track that we don't like to talk about. It is Francis, and you can see by the time Saturday morning rolls around, dangerously close to Central Florida. So the big thing is we need to keep watching it. I know you want to know exactly where this system's going to go, but at this point, still too early to answer that question. We'll track that closely. Also tracking those out-the-door Monday morning temperatures for you. It's 75 degrees in Orlando and Titusville, 77 in Sanford. So overall, no big surprises for this morning, and overall, no big surprises throughout your day today. Rainfall chances a little bit below average at about 30%, but still, overall, pretty typical Florida day. Rainfall chances, again, at 30%, and those storms will be of the scattered variety later on today. Your high temperatures mainly in the lower 90s. Now, the big thing is we're tracking the weather locally. We also, of course, are continuing to track the tropics, and it's not just Francis. We've got multiple systems out there right now. We've got new images of all those systems and also new impressive images of Francis. That's all coming up in less than 10 minutes. For the time being, though, let's check in with Bob Baxa, standing by over in the traffic center. What's going on?
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Straight to the camera. Let's start off fairly close to downtown Orlando. Here's I-4 at Fairbanks Avenue. Westbound traffic's on the right side of your screen. Downtown, underneath Anderson Street, here's I-4. Westbound is on the far left. And continuing westbound, west of downtown, this is I-4 at the Orange Blossom Trail. Now, we do have an accident in Melbourne. It's on US 192, right at I-95. Also, we're just hearing on the scanners there might be an accident on I-4 eastbound in the Lake Helen area. I'll try to find out what's going on there. Time Saver Traffic is a service of David Moss Toyota. I will have another update in less than 10 minutes. Greg?
All right, thank you. It is now 5:10. The Taliban is claiming responsibility for a car bombing in Afghanistan that killed 7 people, including 2 Americans. The car bomb exploded yesterday in Kabul outside a U.S. defense contractor's office. This attack followed a blast at a school in southeastern Afghanistan, which killed at least 9 people.
In Miami, a wholesaler has announced that its company will recall 14,000 bags of candy. The bags contain a toy that looks like a plane flying into a building, and a second toy which looks like Osama bin Laden is suspended between the 2 buildings. Eyewitness News first brought you this story last week, but now we've had a chance to speak with a representative from the corporation that distributed the candy.
The importers did not realize what they're buying. They're buying assortments of toys, and they get to people like us trying to sell authentic Mexican candies. Nobody caught it, and it went out into the stores.
The manager of the Lisi Corporation says the candy was originally purchased sight unseen, but now he'll send back all that he's collected. Daybreak time now, 5:11. Road rage claimed the life of an Orange County man. Ahead, what the victim's mother had to say about this senseless act of violence.
And take a look at this. Caught on tape a motorcyclist moments before he crashed his bike on I-4.
And speaking of I-4, things are still looking pretty decent on I-4. It's very early. Take a look outside. I-4 at Kennedy Boulevard near Maitland Boulevard. We will take a look at weather and traffic together every 10 minutes, coming up right after the break.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. Live picture out over downtown Orlando. Hopefully you had a great weekend this weekend. Weather seemed to turn out pretty good, all things considered. And we wake up this Monday morning with more concerns. We check your weather and traffic together every 10 minutes, and the concerns don't just deal with what to wear. We have something out there named Francis.
Meteorology, yeah. Really working my nerves. This is a tough summer for me.
If only it were just what we had to worry about what to wear. That'd be the nice thing, but yeah, it's another busy day, guys. We're tracking Francis, we're tracking Hermine, we're tracking the remnants of Gordon. Just a very busy Monday morning in the tropics. And you can see it all swirling around behind me. First things first, let's break down Francis, because Francis could end up being a very big story for some parts of the United States. Where exactly, still too early to tell, but you can see this morning a major hurricane swirling its way through many portions of the Atlantic right now. You can see it, a pretty impressive storm system this morning. Now, it has weakened a little bit overnight, but still an impressive Category 3 storm, and it could easily strengthen back into a Category 4 storm as it continues its push, possibly towards central Florida. So we are watching it closely. The newest forecast track as of 5 o'clock this morning from the National Hurricane Center, still at the end of the track, has the system offshore, not making landfall. But the big thing is just how close will it be to making landfall by Saturday morning. Well, the red line, that's where the center of the storm is actually expected to go. But I want to emphasize, we don't want to concentrate on the center of the storm, because as we learned with Charlie, the center of the storm could actually shift anywhere in this yellow area. So the storm could track as far south and as far west as that location there, pretty close to Key Largo. It could track as far north and as far east as out there, and that's pretty much out to sea. The big thing we're doing, we're tracking it. Where exactly it'll go, that will remain to be seen. But as you can see, certainly dangerously close to central Florida. And now is the time to kind of start thinking about things, possibly a major storm pushing toward our area. Kind of do those mental preparations, if you will. Think of what you would do if this storm were to kind of set its sights on our area. Hopefully that will not happen. But at this point, too early to tell where this storm system is going. It's not just Francis, though. Again, it's pretty active out there. Francis, the guy that we're concerned with as far as we're concerned here across central Florida. We also have the remnants of Gordon, which actually knocked out power and caused a state of emergency in the Carolinas yesterday, and also Hermine right here. This system looks to stay offshore and remain relatively weak. Weather locally, let's check live early warning Doppler 9000 this morning. Not all that much going on. A few sprinkles west of Ocala Overall, though, a dry start to your day. And let's check early warning future track 9 for you. What it's showing is a dry start to the day. Dry even through the lunch hour, so some good news for you. In that regard, you can get a bite to eat without having to worry about the storms. But by 6 o'clock this evening, showers starting to pop up. Overall, though, not all that exciting of a day. Rainfall chances around 30%. The 5-day forecast, luckily the 5-day forecast looks pretty tranquil this week, and that's what we want as we continue to track some major storms out there. Rainfall chances pretty close to average, and again, we will simply continue to have our eyes peeled to Francis over the next couple of days. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, I will talk more about that Monday forecast and also continue to talk about Francis. That is all on the way. For the time being, though, here is Bob Baxa.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. Let's go straight to the camera. We're going to start up in Volusia County. We have a possible problem up there. This is I-4 State Road 472. This is in the Lake Helen area. FHP is reporting east of here, closer to Daytona, there is an accident on I-4 eastbound. We're going to watch this area closely and see if anything develops, if there are any delays. Now let's go to I-4 at the John Young Parkway, and then further west from there, this is I-4 at the Florida Turnpike. Hotspots, we already talked about I-4 eastbound in the Lake Helen area. Also an accident on US 192 at I-95. That's in Melbourne. Coming up, we're going to check southern Orange County, also Osceola County. My next update is in less than 10 minutes. Vanessa?
Daybreak time now, 5:18. This morning, we have video taken from inside a patrol car of a motorcyclist just before he died in a crash. In the video here, you can see 37-year-old Herbert Moody of Sanford refusing to stop for a Seminole County deputy on I-4 near 1792. This was yesterday. Later, the deputy pulled into the I-4 arrest area where he found Moody dead. Eyewitnesses say he slammed into a parked tractor-trailer.
A man remains in the Orange County Jail this morning after he admitted to stabbing 2 people and killing one of them. Investigators believe 22-year-old Manuel Sanchez stabbed John Thomas and Harvey Berry Saturday night after Berry allegedly cut him off while driving on Chickasaw Trail. Berry died and Thomas is still in a hospital. Linda Pate, who is Berry's mother, agreed to talk with us on camera if we didn't show her face. She explains what happened when she found her son.
I reached down and I turned him over. And I tried to talk to him, and I couldn't get a response.
Sanchez is being held without bond and has been charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder.
Family and friends gathered to remember 2 victims of the Deltona mass murder. Aaron Belanger and Francisco Roman's ashes were scattered at sea in a private memorial service yesterday in Boston. August 6th, Belanger and Roman and 4 other young people were beaten to death with baseball bats. Last week, 4 men were indicted in the murders.
Deputies in Orange County continue to look for 3 men who robbed a jewelry store inside the Florida Mall. This happened as people were shopping Saturday morning at the Bailey Banks and Biddle jewelry store. A manager of a store across the hall saw the entire thing unfold. He said the 3 men smashed a jewelry case inside the store and grabbed everything that they could and then got away.
Today, Terry Schiavo's family will hold a news conference in anticipation of an upcoming state Supreme Court hearing about the brain-damaged woman. The court will hear arguments tomorrow in the case to decide if the law Governor Bush signed in October to keep Schiavo alive is constitutional. Schiavo has been kept alive by a feeding tube for more than a decade. Attorneys for Schiavo's husband argue that Terry's law violates her constitutional right to privacy. Daybreak time now, 5:20. Our live team coverage continues. Weeks after Hurricane Charlie blasted Central Florida, another hurricane could be headed our way. But are we ready?
And listen to this. Police say a man left his daughter alone inside a car while he went to a strip club. Ahead, what the father has to say about these charges. And a beautiful full moon out over Orange County this morning. This a live picture. Vanessa howling at the moon today. Wondered why she was acting a bit odd. More odd than normal, I should say.
Watch it.
Weather and traffic together every 10 minutes. Also the latest on Hurricane Francis's track towards Florida.
This is Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry for local and national weather, plus the early warning forecast, 7 days a week. Pick up the Daytona Beach News Journal or log on to newsjournalonline.com.
Here in Central Florida, we get all kinds of severe weather, lightning, tornadoes, tropical storms, and even hurricanes. At Channel 9 Eyewitness News, we're committed to doing everything we can to keep you safe. That's why we created Severe Weather Center 9 with the most advanced forecasting technology ever. Whatever's coming, you'll see it here first.
Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry in Severe Weather Center 9, only on Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Severe weather coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Channel 9 Eyewitness News. Daybreak right now on your Monday morning. And, of course, we are checking the weather and time-saver traffic for you together every 10 minutes. And there is a little bit too much to check. There is a lot out there this morning. We are tracking Francis very closely, still a major hurricane. The forecast track, a big deal for us as we continue to watch this closely as it continues to unfold. You can see by Saturday morning it is pretty close to our area, the actual center of the storm. But, of course, the center could go as far west as this, and that could possibly bring itself into central Florida. The big thing is we need to watch it closely, and of course we will continue to do that for you. As far as the weather today goes, really not all that much going on out there, and that is a good thing as we continue to have some pretty nice weather locally. 88 degrees at the lunch hour, and later on today, rainfall chances only at about 30%. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, some new information on Francis. Right now, though, here is Bob Beckstein.
All right, thanks, Joe. Straight to the camera. We're going to start by the convention center. Here's I-4 at the B line. That's I-4 eastbound on the right. Down into Osceola County, here's I-4 at the Osceola Parkway. Two traffic hotspots. I-4 eastbound in the Lake Helen area. That's in Volusia County. And a crash in Brevard County, US 192 at I-95. Another update in less than 10 minutes. Greg?
All right, thank you. Time right now, 5:24. An Orlando father has been charged with felony neglect after police say he left his 5-year-old daughter inside his car while he went inside a local strip club for 2 hours. 25-year-old William Pappas was inside Cabaret International on Saturday when a passerby noticed the little girl in the car and notified authorities. When asked about the incident, Pappas said it was a bad judgment call.
Are you a bad parent? No, I'm not. I'm not. I made a horrible judgment call. I've asked for forgiveness from everybody I've talked to.
Including your wife?
Including my wife.
The club told police that Pappas was a regular, but Pappas says leaving his daughter in the unlocked car was irregular.
This morning, Orlando police continue to investigate a break-in in Edgewater High School. Police say 6 children broke into vending machines on the school's campus Saturday night. All of them were taken into custody. One had to be treated at the hospital first, though, because he was bitten on the leg by a police dog. Daybreak time now, 5:25.
Coming up, Central Florida continues to recover from Hurricane Charlie, and another hurricane could, I use the word could, be headed our way. The latest on Francis's track. The newest track came out at 5.
Now, if you're watching this newscast on Rabbit Ears this morning, coming up when your cable could finally be restored.
And is Central Florida prepared for another major hurricane? I'm Gustavo Almodovar, live in Orange County. Find out after the break.
I'm Mary Wynn, live in Lake Mary. Progress Energy says more than 500,000 customers lost power after Hurricane Charlie hit. What will happen if Hurricane Francis hits? That's coming up.
And is Francis coming to Central Florida? You can see it swirling around behind me. We've got a zoomed-in look at that track showing you how close it could come. That's coming up right after the break.
Now, from WFTV, this is Channel 9 Eyewitness News Daybreak. Coverage you can count on.
It could be a 1-2 punch. Weeks after Hurricane Charlie pounded Central Florida, Hurricane Francis is now eyeing our coastline. Live team coverage coming up. Good morning. Today is Monday, the 30th day of August. Time right now, 5:28. I'm Greg Gorman.
I'm Vanessa Eccles. We'll begin our live team coverage now with meteorologist Joe Smith. He's in Severe Weather Center 9, taking a look at Francis.
You sound exasperated.
I am. I'm sick of this.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, you know, but... well, I think a lot of people are probably complaining, though, and you know what, we have the right to it. It's been really busy out there in the tropics, and unfortunately, the peak of the hurricane season still about 2 weeks away, so it's really active for you. There is Francis. Let's show you what we're dealing with on this Monday morning. Actual multiple tropical systems all swirling around. Here is Francis for you. That, of course, is the big concern for us. Here's for mine, actually a new system that should stay away from land areas, and here are the remnants of Gaston. But again, the big thing, Hurricane Francis. Let's break it all down for you right now, show you exactly what we're dealing with this morning. The forecast track does continue to bring it towards Central Florida, and that, of course, is not a good thing by Saturday morning. Look how close it could be. Now, we've actually zoomed into it and kind of